Do you know the life cycle of a star? Well, let's take a look at this question and find out. So, all stars have a life cycle. The figure below shows part of the life cycle of a star that becomes a black dwarf. Complete the figure below. Choose answers from the box. So, it starts as a main sequence star in this stage of the process. So, it's now bubbling along kind of like our sun is at the moment in its flow state, stable state of a main sequence star. Then we've got two stages before it reaches a black dwarf. The first of those, when the main sequence star's fusion starts to come to an end and its elements start getting used up, it then starts to form heavier and heavier elements, and because they are heavier, they are bigger, and it makes the star become larger, and it becomes so large that we form a red giant. So that's the first box. Then the one between a red giant and a black dwarf, when the fusion is finished, it then collapses under its own pressure, the red giant, and then it shrinks, and that's when we get a dwarf. But it's not a black dwarf yet because it's still emitting radiation in the form of light, so it's shining. It is a white dwarf, and that is the second one here. Okay, so the next question says, the table below gives the mass of 3 stars compared to the mass of the sun, X, Y, and Z, and it says the first one is 25 times bigger, Y is 15 times bigger, and Z is 0.9 times bigger, so just similar, slightly smaller than the size of the sun. And it says, which letter represents a star most likely to become a black dwarf? And it says, tick one and explain your answer, give a reason. So, we know that the sun, as we've just shown in the previous question, is going to form a black dwarf. So it's either stars that are a similar size or smaller than the sun that are going to follow that same path and form a black dwarf. X and Y are way bigger, so they are not going to do that. So the correct answer is Z. So we're going to tick Z and we're going to say that Z forms a black dwarf because it is a similar/smaller size than the sun. And for the last marker to this question, it says, in which stage of the life cycle of a star are elements heavier than iron produced? Is it a nebula, protostar, or supernova? So a nebula is just when the cloud of dust and gas comes together, so fusion hasn't even happened yet, so that can't be right. A protostar, it's still in the early stages of fusion, it hasn't reached the stable state of main sequence like our sun, so that is not correct. The correct answer is a supernova here, and the reason for that is because when the elements are running out, you start to use heavier and heavier elements. So in a larger star, that's when you get to the stage of really heavy elements and you get a massive sized red giant, and that explodes to form a supernova at the end.